Welcome to Health Reversion, the channel for raw, unbiased education on physical and mental health. The second quarter has seen much the same as the first quarter. We've got the continuation of invisible threats, now pertaining to monkeys. We've got the continuation of an orchestrated war, and we've got increased pressure on general living costs from groceries to fuel. How have you been navigating these very strange times? Let me know in the comments down below. What this unique time in history is really about is the opportunity for each of us to recognize our innate natural power, our internal guidance, if you will. The reason things are getting a bit wacky is because many of us have an unhealthy dependence on external entities. What do I mean by external entities? Well, for instance, the medical establishment, the political entities, the food and beverage industry, the entertainment industry, and just the control structure as a whole. We have been taught since inception to look outside for answers and guidance and the way forward. What do I do now? I've got to seek the answer outside of myself. Who can I go to for direction? This person will know. Now, to be clear, it is advantageous to look to external entities, such as when you're trying to learn a new skill, if you want to become a surgeon, for instance. If you're involved in an accident and you need to rehabilitate and see a physiotherapist, someone specially trained in an area, then definitely we should seek external guidance. However, it seems that the general populace is happy to take external guidance for a large proportion of their life. And at the moment, that's being taken advantage of, and not in a good way. There is a muddy, dense sludge that is being brought to the forefront for everyone to see, anyone who cares to see, and it's wanting to be healed. It's wanting to be transmuted, and it's existed here on this planet for a very, very long time. All the suppressed fears, wounds that we have, traumas we've experienced, all of these are just being brought up to the surface, and to put it bluntly, they are begging to be healed, to be once and for all dealt with, to be seen, to be heard, so that the individual can rise up and evolve. And although I'm not a big subscriber to the collective, but the more people that can do this, obviously, the better it is for everyone on the planet. As we cross through the middle of 2022, all of the staged events, all of the theatre for the masses that's taking place right now, all of it is aimed at stirring up within the individual the opportunity to look at those staged events, for instance, the war, to look at the staged events and the manipulation in the markets, for instance, in oil prices and grocery prices, and to look for a new way of living. Now, whether that means attempting to grow some of your own food so you're not so dependent on the system, if it means cycling to work more often than taking the vehicle, if it means looking at the war that's happening and just going, I could never be in conflict with any other human being. I wouldn't ever want to harm anybody. So the theatre's there, it's awful, but it's happening. And if we look at it and we buy into it, then it's just going to lower us, and we're going to remain in that sort of heavy, dense, contracted state. But if we can look at it and say, okay, thank you for that contrast. Thank you for the opportunity to see what I don't want to be like, and this is what I choose to be like. This is the way I would like the world to look. This is the world I would like to live in. And you decide what that is, and you focus your attention towards it. A general practical example of that and what that might look like, thanks to the manipulation of the oil markets. There is plenty of oil on this planet, and it is renewable. yes, it is renewable. It is not a non-renewable resource. But anyway, that's a topic for another time. So at the moment, the oil price has been artificially increased. That puts pressure on grocery items, transport costs, and obviously, if you have a vehicle, the cost of filling that vehicle up. Now, let's just say it used to cost $70 or €70, wherever you happen to be in the world, for you to fill up your car, and now it's costing 100 or 110 or 120. You've got to find that money from somewhere. So this particular form of contrast, this particular manipulation that is happening, allows you to then look at the overall amount of money that you have, or look at your income, and where can you now take that money from? And it's an opportunity for you to go, okay, do I really need that streaming service? Was that particular item that I bought, was it really serving me? Do I really need this expensive material asset? Do I need this? Do I need this? And it forces you to look at what's really important. Now, obviously, for some people on the planet, $40 or $50 extra to fill up their vehicle is nothing to them, so they don't go through any of this. But for the more humble folk, such as myself and I'm sure many of you, it forces us to look at our spending habits and decide what's important. It is completely understandable if you are in a state of disillusionment. It's actually kind of supposed to be that way. So if you do find yourself disillusioned at the moment, it is perfectly normal, perfectly natural. There's nothing wrong with you. In a way, you're kind of supposed to be disillusioned at the moment. We are at a key juncture which is happening right now. The divine will be testing our sincerity, our integrity, and our humility as we travel through this very intense period. Kind of like end times, if you will. So going into the second half of 2022, the message is simple here today. The more people that can reduce their dependency on those things that are external to themselves and focus instead on their inner power, getting to know that, recognizing what it is, recognizing that it's been there the whole time, and then focusing on a world that you ideally want to live in, while obviously still living in the world that we are living in at the moment. So it's a kind of a straddle that's going to have to happen. Remember this and keep well.